All right. We are going to go ahead and bring in my comrade Nick Cruz from Revolutionary Blackout Network. And you guys know her all the time. You've seen her here before. And Miss Blakely, let's go ahead and bring them in.
Not Miss. Hey.
Hey, what's popping, my dear RBN sister? Sabby, we're so proud of you. Thank you for inviting me on.
Well, I'm so glad you guys could come on, because I was like, well, I can talk about this story by myself, but I really wanted to hear from you guys. Because, so for those who are not aware, there's two things we want to look at here. Zohran Mamdani, the first one is about a challenge towards Hakeem Jeffries. And then the second one is this idea of keeping Commissioner Tisch, and that he said he's looking forward to working with her. So I want to start with the Hakeem Jeffries part first. For those who have not seen this, because I know everybody's not on Twitter, Zohran Mamdani in a recent interview was asked about Hakeem Jeffries having a challenger. Everyone listen to this.
As you've seen, your election has created a lot of buzz. Now that the midterms are underway, that seems to be the focus, but your name is still being dragged into the midterms, right? Let me talk about Hakeem Jeffries for a moment, who now may face a challenge from Chi Osei, who is a member of the DSA. You said that there are local issues that Mr. Osei should be focused on, maybe should remain a councilman. Are you saying he should not run against Hakeem Jeffries?
No, I'm saying that I think the focus should be right here on New York City. I respect the work that Councilmember Osei has done.
But what does that mean? Should he not run?
I think that right now is not the time to be engaging in that kind of a primary. I think the focus should be on delivering on this affordability agenda.
And
so I guess the first question I have for you guys, because what I noticed is that the interviewer here who's asking the questions, he didn't really push back here, and he should have gone into the but why, right? Like, so Zohran said that now is not the time. And it bothers me when people say that. For people who are not aware, like, this was said during the civil rights movement. Now is not the time. And then there's always this question of, well, when is the right time? And the other question I have for you guys is this. I feel like I thought we were on this path to drawing a line in the sand where people are not going to be supporting politicians that are taking money from the Israeli lobby. That's what I thought. And now we are seeing that people are once again trying to make the excuse, well, this politician takes the money from AIPAC, and we know Hakeem has taken over $1 million from AIPAC, just AIPAC in particular. Don't mess with him, though.
Right.
Don't mess with him. Now's not the time for that one. Yeah, we're going to fight back against, AIPAC and the Israeli lobby, but not with Hakeem. Like, don't mess with him. Blakely, I'll go to you, and then I'll bring in Nick.
Yeah, so obviously it's disappointing. I'm upset about it, to say the least. I think that now is not the right time is not a sufficient answer. I wish he would have been asked, why not? Although I don't know what he would. I wish somebody would have said, well, why not? But even though I'm disappointed, obviously, because Hakeem Jeffries is trash, he's not. There are buckets of worse, bad and worse. Hakeem Jeffries is terrible. In fact, why Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are still in leadership positions is a joke. Both of them should have had to step down after the election loss, because you guys lost, so there should have been consequences for that. And then the government shutdown that they handled in the most joke way possible, they should have stepped down after that. So yes, I'm upset about it. I'm disappointed, but I don't think people should listen. I hope that she runs anyway, because Hakeem Jeffries, there is no defense of him. He is not only an AIPAC shill, he's a corrupt. Also, not to be a dick about it, but he's not even talented. Like, people say that, like, I know people say that, like, oh, well, he's probably good at other things. I'm sure he is. You don't get in a position like that without having skills somewhat. But I'm talking about politics is about voting. It's about moving shit. But there is an aspect of it that is about propaganda and being a leader and performance. And they suck. Hakeem Jeffries, the same guy that literally stood up and said there was nothing we could do. And I'm so tired of hearing that shit, because I just watched 4 fucking Republicans force a vote to get those Epstein files through. 4. It took 4 of them. And they even dragged Bobo's ass into the fucking Situation Room and tried to bully her ass into not doing it. And she still voted to sign that discharge petition. So I don't want to fucking hear it. Also, like, there is no, again, excuse for somebody as talentless as Hakeem Jeffries, for as corrupt as Hakeem Jeffries, and somebody who was taking, when he was asked after the election of Mamdani, after he didn't endorse him that entire time, after he dicked around and refused to endorse him the entire time, he literally said, I did, but I'm still going to make sure that I highlight our differences as it relates to Israel having a right to defend itself. And he immediately went and started defending Israel. It was like insane. Like, he is not even there. Also, it is the right. First of all, I don't believe in there not being a right time to primary somebody. Okay. If you're saying it's not the right time, you don't believe in democracy. You don't believe in it, because you can't say that it's not the right time and then shit on somebody for primarying someone. You go get to, these bitches walk around and call themselves the party of democracy while constantly crushing people trying to primary them. It is so maddening. But then also it's like pisses me off particularly because people told Zohran that it wasn't his time. People told AOC that it wasn't her time. And it was like, Zohran Mamdani, people forget, he was literally nobody. He was nobody. He was polling at 1%. He was an assemblyman. People said he was crazy. People said he was a loser. People said that nobody was going to elect a Muslim. Like,
yep.
And people got behind him. People didn't listen. So my hope is that, and I know I'm not a part of DSA, so I know I have no right to tell them how to vote. Like, it's up to them to decide how to vote. But I hope that they buck it, because here's the thing. This is the thing that makes me insane about the voters, is that there is so much bowing down to leadership in a way that the Republicans just don't do. The Republicans didn't give a fuck about what Mike Johnson had to say about this petition. They didn't. But when it comes to the Democrats, it's always, where can we bow? How can we bow to leadership? It's like, how about fuck Hakeem Jeffries? How about Hakeem Jeffries and Cuck Schumer are a fucking joke? AIPAC Shakur should not be sitting in fucking Congress, and he shouldn't be in leadership. These people are clowns, and the least they could have done was stay the fuck out of it. You don't want him to run because people, of course, I got fucking dogpiled by everyone. Every fucking person dogpiled me. And the people that were defending Zohran were saying, shut up, it's not the right time, you're already ruining his agenda, blah, 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 blah. You don't know the 4D dimensional chess and the what that he's going to be doing behind the scenes. It's like, he didn't even give a reason. He didn't even bother trying to explain himself. Well, you're not giving us a reason. And also, I don't know how this would hurt his agenda. What is Hakeem Jeffries going to do? Invite Trump to come? Like, it's sorry. And I'm already having a bad day because there was a roach in my apartment and my husband wasn't home to kill it. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And what happened last night for him. Also, he came out like, I'm feeling whiplash because like I'm excited.
Well, let me get to that part in just a minute about what happened, what he did last night. But let me get Nick in here.
Yeah, Blakely was cooking there, I believe. I think that's the anger everyone in New York should have. And before I say this, and people know I've been going very hard on Zohran Mamdani for months, because to me this was very obvious, and it's only going to get worse, by the way. But I'm not angry at the desperate New York working class people who was desperate to drive down the cost of goods, and that's why they were misled by this fraud, Zohran Mamdani. There's people that were desperate and they were willing to do anything it took to lower the cost of goods. And I understand that. But I don't know why anyone would be surprised at him betraying the movement. The second I saw people defending Zohran Mamdani uncritically, when I saw nothing but red flags, literally every interview. I wasn't like nitpicking interview. It would be every interview. He would say something cringe. And I will have to decide not to cover it, because I'm like, all right, I don't want to destroy Zohran too bad, so I got to ignore him. But every interview, he's saying cringe stuff, which made it 100% clear where his loyalty was. But everyone on the left completely ignored it. For example, he made it clear that his number one goal was not to build a movement of working class leftists to challenge the capitalist class. He made it clear that his number one priority is to save the Democratic Party. That is what he said on his campaign launch. And he kept saying it. over and over again. Like, yeah, our movement is going to save the Democratic Party. You mean the party that deserved to die after the genocide that they enabled? So was Zohran, and I knew this playbook was coming. He was going to get a massive amount of popularity because of the left, and he's going to use his popularity in order to whitewash and in order to rehabilitate genocidal Zionist scum. I called it immediately because months ago he was doing events with Richie Torres, being friendly with Richie Torres, someone who was terrified because he was worried about a primary after supporting genocide. So, okay, it's clear that Zohran is going to use his credibility to try to save this party. So I don't know why people thought that he would ever endorse a primary challenge against his leaders. What he's going to do is defend the genocidal Democratic Party. And the second I see people defending stuff, but go ahead, Sabby.
I mean, I would just say he doesn't even have to endorse it. I think the thing that people are really upset about was this. It says, in extraordinary appearance at the New York City DSA meet tonight, Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani urged the leftist group to not endorse She Osei's run against Hakeem Jeffries, saying the move would make it more difficult to enact his agenda in New York City. I think what more people are mad about is that he went out of his way to go to this DSA meeting to tell the DSA New Yorkers not to get behind this guy, not to get behind She. But then I have to say something else too. I don't understand why people are pretending as though there's only one person who is running against Hakeem Jeffries. This is another thing that is irking me because I'm like, okay, there's a plan here, something happening behind the scenes. If you look at the Ballotpedia right now, according to Ballotpedia, and he came onto the show, Vance Bostic is running against Hakeem Jeffries. Vance Bostic has been running since July. So the question that I have, why are all these people, and this is not just corporate media, even independent media, why are they pretending as if there is only one person who is running against Hakeem Jeffries when Vance has been running before? Now, Vance came onto the show.
They try to split the vote, Sabby.
But Vance came onto the show and I asked him, I said, would you consider running as an independent? And this is the reason why. Do you see, Vance has been going on to all these different posts on Twitter saying, I am running against Hakeem Jeffries, and people are ignoring it. And that to me is an alarm. I'm like, what the hell? So is it a money raising issue? Because I'm seeing that She has already raised like a lot of money, over $150,000, already has thousands of people lined up to volunteer for him. I don't understand what this is, but how is that any different to the way that the media treated Bernie when he ran in 2016 and in 2020? So what the hell is really going on? So that's a question that I have as well. But then also, I think a deal was made. And I want to get your take on this, Nick, and I'll go back to Blakely. I'm starting to wonder if before Hakeem Jeffries came forward and gave that lukewarm endorsement of Zohran's campaign, and it was lukewarm, I'm starting to wonder if there wasn't some kind of deal that was made behind the scenes between those two. How do we know if Hakeem didn't sit down? Because we know they met. How do we know that Hakeem didn't say to Zohran, well, you know what? I'll give you my support as long as you don't support a primary against me. Because Hakeem already knew. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Vance has been running since July. He already knew people wanted him out. People been calling for Hakeem to get out of there. So how do we know that wasn't a deal that wasn't already made? Nick.
This is one of the many red flags because Zohran Mamdani's strategy to accomplish his policies was not rooted in class war. Making backroom deals with the capitalist class is not how you advance the agenda for the working class. You do what Shama did, who actually accomplished win for the working class in Seattle. You form a coalition of working class people to put maximum pressure on the ruling class and to defeat them. In Mexico, for example, Claudia Sheinbaum and the Morena Party, did they reduce poverty in Mexico, Sabby, by infiltrating the neoliberal party? No, they did it by forming their own anti-capitalist party that outright rejected neoliberalism. This is why I get frustrated with the DSA left strategy, because the strategy is ahistorical. The only thing you guys got from running in the Democratic Party is a genocide. And now you win one election, one mayoral race, and you can't even hold your candidate accountable because you guys had no mechanism of accountability because entryism is a failed strategy. And that's why he is obviously going to defend Hakeem Jeffries because that's his job to keep the anti-Zionist movement in check, Sabby. But please continue if you want to.
But to go out of your way, Blakely, to go out of the way to go to DSA and tell them not to endorse that guy. Now, I do understand some things I was reading about is that he has not been a member of DSA for a long time. So some people feel as though he just joined recently and he's trying to ride this wave or whatever that's happening. I do understand that. But like I said, he's not the only person that's running against Hakeem. But it is kind of weird to go out of your way and go to that meeting and tell them don't do it.
Right. Which is what I had a problem with, because my thing is, like, I understand. First of all, I understand why they would be hesitant to endorse him because he was kind of in and out and he's a good councilman. But so I get that. And again, like, I don't want to be like too lecturing to them because, you know, I do know that there are a lot of DSA people that work their fucking asses off. Like they're really about it. Like and if an endorsement would be a big deal because that includes all that infrastructure. It includes people willing to go and knock on doors and go outside and fucking brave the cold and shit. Like, so I get that. But at the same time, you know, silence was an option. Staying the fuck out of it was an option. You didn't have to come. That's what's getting me. I don't even begrudge Zohran for saying the things he said about the Democratic Party, because at the end of the day, he is still a Democrat. So that's what he is. So that's fine. At least he's saying that. Like, I'm fine. Like, I don't care. What I care about is, why do you always have to come in and ruin it? Like, literally coming in and ruining it. Like, you could have shut up. You could have shut up and just let somebody go and primary him. And if DSA wanted to vote for him, they could. And some people have said to me, well, slow your roll. They might have made a backroom deal when it came to this. Okay, so then why not explain that then? Why not explain that? You know what I don't like? I don't like being fucking talked down to all the time. You don't understand. It's not your time. Blah, blah, blah. They have a grand start. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Why don't you just go, like, level with us? Then tell me, if you think that this untalented fucking hack who speaks like a speak and spell is for whatever reason should not be primaried, then why don't you explain that to us? I am so tired of these plan trusters. It's like literally, it's like the equivalent of the people that are like cat turd on the right that will like yell at anybody that criticizes Trump and says that they need to trust the plan. It's like, that's what I feel like sometimes when it's like, they're like, you don't understand. It's like, no, I do understand. I've been watching this since the beginning. It wasn't even that long ago that I was fucking canvassing for him. Okay. Like, it makes me feel so enraged to be just disrespected like this. Like, and it's not that I'm surprised. It's not that I'm surprised. But yes, of course I'm disappointed. I am getting priced out of my neighborhood. I don't want to lose my apartment. They've raised my rent every single year since Eric Adams became mayor. So it's like, yeah, sorry, crucify a bitch for having a little bit of hope, okay? For like, maybe things might get a little bit more bearable. But what I hate so much is just like, it's actually a two-way street. The contempt that so many of them have for us, that they can't even level with us and tell us why they're making a decision. They could have stayed out of it instead of just letting it. They're not even not being neutral. They're putting their finger on the scale. They're encouraging people not to run against somebody who is objective trash, okay? And then the other thing is I can't stand that the foot soldiers are always there ready to tell me to shut up. No. I'm not going to shut up about it. I want you to be about what you fucking said about. And yes, I know the Democrats are trash, but that's not just the only problem. The other problem, and sorry to be a bitch, are the fucking voters. You never want to hold anybody accountable. You never do. You never want to hold anybody's feet to the fire. I'm the only one fucking saying anything and people are telling me to shut up. I have no
So, well, and I think this brings up another question, right? Because then we get into the Tisch thing. I know some people are upset about this as well. Zohran said, I look forward to working with Commissioner Jessica Tisch to deliver genuine public safety in New York City, yada, yada. This one I'm a little shocked that people are surprised by, because he did say he was going to keep her. So I'm kind of surprised that people are shocked by this. But I think the question that needs to be asked, like, what are people supposed to do, right? So the thing is, I really do think, and people need to draw a line in the sand. Either you are supporting candidates that take money from the Israeli lobby, or you're not. And I don't want to hear the if, and, or buts. And I don't care who the politician is. Either you're supporting the candidates taking money from the Israeli lobby, or you're not. That needs to be a hard line that is drawn in the sand. This is why I encourage more people to run as independents. So I think that's something that people need to start asking themselves. Like, seriously, after everything that we've seen, especially that happened in Gaza. And then with the Tisch situation, I wanted to get your opinion about that, Nick, as well. He did say he was going to keep her, but I saw a lot of people melting down the other day saying, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm like, he did say that he was going to keep her, but she is absolutely awful. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was shocking how many Zohran supporters didn't really understand his position on a lot of these issues. And like I said before, like I think everyone who in New York should be as angry as Blakely is, because I'm actually very depressed because I don't want to tag people who supported Zohran. If you guys know, I'm mostly just I'll rant on my timeline. I'm not going after anyone. You guys know this. Like I haven't went after anyone personally, because like you do what you believe is best. I personally feel disappointed that I wasn't able to reach them and offer alternatives. Because Sabby, what we've been focused on for the last few years, we've been focused on mutual aid, building up third parties, building up outside power. So I failed, and I didn't like seeing people fall for the Zohran Mamdani thing. Legitimately depresses me, because I mean, apparently I failed somewhere. Apparently Marxists are failing somewhere. Why aren't we reaching these struggling workers who keep falling for the same strategy over and over again, and it's not working? Regarding Tisch, like I was explaining to people to Zohran, like based on his strategy I've seen, I knew he wasn't going to accomplish his domestic agenda, because that's not the strategy you do to win class war. So I was like, guys, all his domestic agenda items, he's lying. He's full of shit. Like he's getting your hopes up. Like that's why a lot of people are disappointed. He's saying stuff he know he won't accomplish. Kathy Hochul, the governor, already shut down like 90% of his policy items. So what I said at the time, very early on, I would say very early on, I said, we can tell whether Zohran Mamdani is legit, because you might as well throw away all that domestic shit he's talking about. It doesn't mean anything. But it is important to have a progressive mayor based on how they treat the NYPD. I said that very early on. One of my first, let's see how he treated the NYPD. The second I saw him apologize to the NYPD, I knew you guys was cooked. And then he said weeks ago that he was going to bring this Zionist psychopath. And you guys know Tisch, she worked with ICE in order to deport a pro-Palestinian student. And do you guys think that Tisch is going to bend to the will of Zohran? No, Zohran already folded. It's over, guys. It is over, fam. Because now what Tisch James is going to do, she's going to challenge his authority every opportunity she gets. It's all about diminishing his power. That's their plan, to infiltrate the administration and diminish his power. So when she undermines Zohran, what she wants to be like, I wish you would fire me. Go ahead and give us the headlines that you fire me. So you're going to have Tisch James that's going to be working against Zohran's policies, but Zohran's not going to care. You know why? And I've explained this concept many times before. Zohran is a young guy. But don't you only have like 2 terms as a mayor in New York, and you can't run again? You guys think he don't have any future ambitions to be a senator? Like, he's a superstar. Is he going to ruin his career by upsetting the establishment he worked so hard to win over? These are questions I asked on RBN, and no one wanted to ask these questions. People like, Nick is just a Zohran hater. No, you guys are not asking any critical questions. What is your mechanism to hold him accountable? You have none, because he's a career climber. Even if he serves 1 term in New York, that's okay, because as long as he's doing good by the establishment, he can run for Congress later. He can run for senator later. But if he has a burn it down approach, which is how you win class war, then you'll make an enemy of the establishment, and all his future opportunities will be cut off. This dynamic and the fact that Zohran is a careerist is how I knew exactly he was going to backtrack on all his promises. And once again, I'm sad that I wasn't able to reach people and explain this to them. Like, because I do believe it's on me. I believe it's on revolutionaries that we can't reach the American people. I'm like, well, I don't get it. Because
Well, I think the problem, I think in this particular situation, though, what else were people supposed to do? Because there was no third party candidate, there was no independent. Like, what else were they? See, I think that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, this is what you were faced with: Zohran, Sliwa, or Andrew Cuomo. And I think we all know Andrew Cuomo didn't really have an agenda for the working class. He just wanted to help out Israel as much as he could, as possible as he could, and also, of course, the billionaire class. So I think, what are people supposed to do in that situation? Because somebody is going to be mayor. And so this is where I kind of look towards the third parties, and I'm like, and I said it before, Jill Stein came on recently, and I said there was no third party option for the people. She came on and she said that Greens in New York were voting for Zohran because, again, there was no Green Party. So again, it's like, yes, I know Andrew Cuomo made it more difficult for third parties to get on the ballot in New York and increase that signature requirement, but that was also years ago. So where were the efforts along that way to start to get things moving so that they could get on the ballot? These are the things that I don't understand. So I ask these questions like, do people really want to win? I look around at some of these parties that have been around for a long time, and I'm like, I don't see them out there really trying to reach these goals so that they can actually win. And so that's a question as well. This is why some people say we need another party or whatever, but I just think the parties in general are part of the problem, because I think at the end of the day, people are going to kind of go with what the party, wants to happen. So what I would encourage people to do is, again, we talk about 11 demands a lot on this show. People have to be encouraged to build a movement outside of electoral politics. Like, if you look at the movements that have happened in the past, the civil rights movement, the women's movement, it wasn't done through, there may have been some politicians involved, but it wasn't done through the Democratic Party. Right. So I think that we have to get back to that, like to that grassroots base there. And electoral politics is a tool that we can use in a toolbox. But to be honest, and I've said this before, especially with the Green Party, by now, as long as the Green Party has been around, the excuses are getting a little old. It's like you've had years to build. And I feel like there's some in the Green Party who really do want to win. And then there's like the other half who it's just a social club for them. I've had these conversations with Jill on the show.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't know. Like, maybe more people need to run as independents so they don't have to deal with the whole party situation.
I mean, that's kind of why I'm watching with a little bit of hope Shama Sawant in Seattle, because if she were to win as an independent, that would be an earthquake. Like, yeah. I'm watching with anticipation because right now I feel very deflated. I feel depressed. Yeah. I feel like, what is the option? Because honestly, like, and I don't mean this to be an asshole. Like, I'm not trying to punch down or punch left, but like, I don't see the third parties doing anything. I don't see them building power. I don't see, it all feels so useless, and it feels so exhausting, and it feels so discouraging. I would love to see more independents win, but we haven't seen it yet. I was really watching Dan Osborne in Nebraska to see if he could win as an independent. And because I also believe in not rewarding failure. Like, it infuriated me when Bernie Sanders was like, oh, I'm not going to call for Chuck Schumer to step down as a leader. We just need to elect more Democrats. For what, bitch? And reward you guys for failure? Like, why are we continuing to reward failure? There has to be like some kind of, and again, people got mad at me for saying this. They're like, that's not what it's about. I'm like, there has to be some kind of like punishment or threat to like make them care in some way. Cause like, otherwise they don't. They're like, fuck you, fuck off. Like, and it's just so frustrating. And I just feel so like deflated about it. It's like, I would love to see people winning as an independent, because also I think that it would be easier, because it's like, that's the other thing too. The third party thing, the infrastructure that is required for that is insane. Like, so if you run as an independent, the same way Cuomo did, you don't have to have that infrastructure that would be like enormous to take on as a third party, and people are not doing it. They are not building that infrastructure. So then, okay, see if somebody can win as an independent. Like I said, I feel a little bit discouraged by that idea too, because it's like, we haven't seen anybody be successful doing it. However, I do know that Dan Osborne is running again as an independent in Nebraska, and he did do pretty well. And like I said, I've been watching Shama Sawant, and I'm watching with lots of interest, because if she could win, that could change everything. If she actually took him out as an independent, it would open the door for people all across the country to say, you can do this without them. And at the very least, it would also create fear in them, which is good. Like, no, I don't want to be your fucking friend. I want you to be scared of us.
Yes.
That's what I want. And they don't, because again, even though like, as I'm like freaking out about certain things, I feel like a lot of people, like voters, they literally don't care after the election's over. They're like, okay, bye. Like,
Yeah.
and that's frustrating too. It's like, I'm honestly,
Well,
guys,
what I always say to people is not to put all your hope and faith in in a politician. At the end of the day, they're still a politician. And to Nick's point, like, I don't believe anyone anymore when they say they don't care if they're just a one-term. I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah.
Me neither.
So it's like,
no,
they have roles too.
Can I address why third parties have been struggling? Like,
go ahead.
I think something that the left in the United States have missed is that there's a Bernie media industrial complex. There's a Bernie career industrial complex whose number one priority is stopping an anti-Zionist third-party movement from developing, stopping an anti-working class movement from developing. They are the same people who will never, ever support Shama Sawant. In fact, these people will run propaganda ops against people who are running against third parties, people who are not willing to follow the establishment, like Jill Stein. When Jill Stein ran, how many giant progressive Bernie media industrial complex accounts repeated the same AOC smear against her when she started surging in the polls? So one of the reasons why third parties fell is because there's an active, hostile, progressive movement that is trying to undermine them at every turn. Hassan Piker followed up and attacked Jill Stein. Majority Report, all these people did. They are agents of the Democratic Party. They're not good faith actors, fam. Their job is to lead working class people off a cliff and have them make the same mistakes over and over again. So yes, these third parties could obviously always do more, even though they are going against an unfair capitalist structure. But people underestimate how much the United States left purposely attacks and undermine third parties, because why don't anyone ever talk about the fact, and every single progressive media outlet I see, they always ignore that if you hit 5% as a third party candidate, you get federal funding. You can start building institutional support. But instead of sharing that with their audience, they say, oh, well, third party is a waste of time. It cannot be a waste of time if your goal is to reach these metrics. If your goal is to build a coalition you need, we know that it only takes around 15% of the population to start a popular front. So why are you opposing that? The third parties will continue to lose as long as United States leftists say they will lose, correct?
I do think there's a difference between a presidential campaign and like a mayor race and a congressional race, though. But I get where you're coming from. But I also think that, like, I'm just not keen on parties. I'm just not keen on, like, that's why people are like, you know, I voted for Jill Stein. I supported Jill Stein, but I'm registered no party affiliation. I have not joined any party, and I've been, and asked to join them, because at the end of the day, what I have noticed is that the needs of the party come first. It's all about what works best for the party, not necessarily what works best for the candidate. And I think, like, so for me, I'm just kind of like,
and in a socialist party, the party is made up of people. Well, I come at this at the approach of a Marxist. I believe in building parties. There has to be an organized structure. Like, show me in history where people achieve victories for the working class as almost an anarchist, unorganized front. I think we do need these parties. The only reason, and this is the primary reason I'm hostile. People, oh, why are you mean to Zohran? Why are you mean to Aces? I am hostile to these people because they wasted, what, $400 million on Bernie Sanders for 2 years? What would happen if, instead of the resources we burned spending on and wasting working class resources on Zohran Mamdani, AOC, and Bernie Sanders, what did we use that to build up a popular working class movement, which has to be organized via parties? You can have your own outside government. I think having an outside government where you're hostile, completely independent from the system, is where we need to go. A mutual aid society where people are we will have our own government. We have our own education systems. We've grown our own food, like our own government of people. And then once you have your own government of people where you're hostile to the current government, then you put up a candidate, just give people options. Like these are like strategies that socialists have used internationally for decades. You form your own outside militia, you form your own outside government, and then put a candidate up. You show up in their community to engage in mutual aid, like me and Sabby talk about. You win the people over on the ground while building up your clout. The United States left failed to do this. So I understand if you guys want to be free of parties, but you understand the failure of third parties is the failure of discipline, not because the strategy doesn't work. So I've been advocating for the United States to develop discipline so we can actually build a true working class third party. But that's just my thoughts. Go ahead, Sabby.
So what Nick is talking about is building dual power.
Absolutely. Building
dual power, which we don't have, like, really, right? So, and I think this is why people get disappointed, right? Like, so yeah, you know, like this is why I told people, don't put your faith in a politician. They're still a politician. Don't put your hope in it. Don't make a politician your hero. Like, just remember, that's just one tool in the toolbox. There are other tools that can be used.
I'm all about mutual aid, doing work on the ground, and not putting your hope in a politician anymore. In fact, that's why I went out of my way for the first time in a campaign not to buy a shirt. I didn't buy a shirt this time because last time I got a sign, but I got it for free at one of the events. Last time, I have so much Bernie merch, sweaters, mugs, because I loved Bernie. And he's been such an incredibly epic disappointment that now I have all this merch that I need to get rid of. And like, I thought and so the way I'm looking at it is as a utility, as a tool. Honestly, if we did have more third-party infrastructure, well, then I would be open to that. But honestly, it's just not there. People are always talking about third parties, but there's never really anything there. So it's like what we have, the thing is too, is that like what I care about is just the people in my community and people being able to get what they need at that moment and like survive and like not die. Like I don't even have such a strong ideological commitment to or against something. Like I don't really love DSA, but I don't mind DSA. Like, you know, whatever. If like sometimes, so with Zohran, it was like, I made sure not to buy any merch, even though I was inspired by his message, because he was the first politician I had heard in a while actually talk about something positive that didn't immediately go to but Trump. That wasn't just but Trump and Trump. What about Trump? So that was encouraging. But also I want to ensure, which is why I made sure not to fall in love with him or anything, that like my relationship to him is, okay, I will support you if you do something good, but I am going to oppose you if you do something bad. You're not my daddy. You're not my bestie. You're not my boyfriend. You don't pay my rent. And so if I'm not going to be committed to you personally, and I'm not interested in running cover for you if you do the wrong thing. And that doesn't mean that you don't give people grace, because that's what I'm also getting accused of. Oh, you're not even giving him grace. That's not true. But there are certain things that are a line. And to me, the idea of saying that we should keep Hakeem Jeffries is insanity. Absolute insanity. And again, silence was an option.
Blakely was doing what he's supposed to be doing, because I knew the movement was cooked the second people started celebrity worshiping Zohran. Because what did the neoliberals and Zionists do? They immediately started working him. They're working him right now. He put out a tweet condemning anti-Semitism. They're still attacking him. They're still attacking him so they are working him every second, every moment. They're criticizing. Go, come on, go further right. Go further right. And then he does, because he put in pressure. I knew New York was cooked the second that he became a celebrity. The second that I took pressure.
That's the thing that I agree with you on. The celebrification of our politics is insane. It's so enraging. The way that literally, I was making fun of Gavin Newsom on one of my videos, and someone came in and went, "Why are you trying to help Trump for 2028? It's 2025. And they're already yelling at me about Gavin Newsom. It's amazing. But the other thing is too, that is really frustrating about it, is that it's like, pressure does work if you have somebody helping you. That's why he's already getting pulled to the right when it comes to what happened last night, because everyone was attacking him. It doesn't matter how much he tries to appease them. They're psycho Zionists or lunatics, and they're going to attack him anyway. But the other thing is that if there's no even pressure coming from the left, then what incentive does he have to listen to it? He doesn't. He doesn't have an incentive. But again, I feel kind of alone out here because a lot of people are like, leave him alone.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, that's going to happen. That happened with me under Obama. I remember people were like, "Don't criticize Obama." I was like, he just went to Flint, Michigan, and pretend to drink dirty water. Don't you say bad things about Obama. And so this is what I mean when I say like people have to be held, politicians have to be held accountable. Like it's weird to me that you can't
view of our relationship to them. Like that's how this is how I feel about it right now. And yes, I'm subject to change. I found out that my congresswoman tonight is retiring after like 14 terms, which I'm thrilled about. So I'm going to be watching this race in my district like a fucking hawk. But like my thing is, and I would love to see a lot of people running it. But my thing is too, I am not against like a specific person, or even right now, I'm at the point right now where I'm not even focused so much on party. I'm focused on like, what can you do for me right now? And I feel like we need to change our relationship to how we view politicians. It makes me insane that there is so much worship. There is so much celebrity worship. Like they are not fucking celebrities. AOC is not your friend. I don't give a shit about AOC, and you shouldn't either insofar as unless she's helping you do something. So like Zohran being like, standing with the Starbucks workers and hiring Lita Khan. I'm thrilled about that. I am thrilled about that. On the other hand, him putting out that statement being like, I would discourage that language. How about tell him to fuck off? How about discourage illegal settlements for being sold in our fucking city? That's not even allowed. But again, doesn't matter. And I don't even know why he's trying to appease these people. These people are psycho. They're going to say it anyway. They're going to say he's bringing in Sharia law anyway. They're going to call him names as they have. The Islamophobia in the city right now is out of fucking control. It's out of control. It's never going to be enough. So I just wish, and I know I'm speaking from a point of privilege as a white person. I'm not Muslim. I'm not Indian. Like, I don't know what that's like, but I just wish that he would tell them to fuck off or something, because it's never going to be enough for him. They're racist, they're Islamophobic, and they are always going to go after him.
And they're going to keep taking. They will never be satisfied.
They will. It's very telling. I say, look, mention the good, but also mention the bad. Like, don't just mention, like, and I think there needs to be some type of like balance there. But I do think it's ridiculous when you can't criticize what a politician is doing. Like, it's ridiculous when it gets to that point.
Yeah, it's not my first rodeo, fam. It's not my first rodeo. Like Sabby, we was there with John Fetterman, and I was blocked, smeared, and attacked for not supporting John Fetterman. And these people will never admit I was right. The same with Zohran, the same with AOC, all these squad members. But once again, I'm not mad, because I remember when I first burst on the scene my rookie year, I had the chip on my shoulder because no one heard me. Like, I had the chip on my shoulder where I was like, fuck the DSA, fuck the progressive left. You guys know, I'm like, that's not even my position anymore, because I've been doing this for what, 5 years now? Now I'm questioning, like, why am I not reaching the working class in the United States? Like, that's why, like, we're trying to ramp up our mutual aid more. Like, I need to change something up. And that's why the Zohran thing I was very active. I was very vocal about this. And a lot of people didn't really understand. They're like, well, Nick White, we have to find a way. And I speak to my revolutionary brothers and sisters to reach the American people. And for whatever reason, we didn't do it over the last few years. And when I see another politician betraying the working class, once again, I'm not mad at anyone who supported Zohran, even though I strongly disagree with the strategy. Like, New York workers are desperate. It's upon us. And I want people on the left. And my biggest message, I've been preaching this on my channel, like, personal responsibility for the left. Like, why did we fail to stop Israel from committing a genocide? Why are we failing to build these third parties? How can we reach the American people? How can we spark revolutionary optimism in them? When we have a boutique left that's spreading nihilism, like the belief that we only have these politicians, that if Donald Trump wins, we're doomed. If random politician wins, we're doomed. That's political nihilism. The people that we're weak. We're weak if Democrats don't win. We can't win without a Democratic Party. That's the political nihilism that destroyed the American working class. And I got to figure out a way, and we all got to figure out a way to reach these people. I think we need to push mutual aid and meet people in the streets. That's been a big focus of ours. And I was honored to organize with the Hampton family doing that earlier this summer. That's our big goal. We talk about it all the time. That's our big goal into next year. I got to reach these people because it's depressing seeing the working class get on. I'm really sad for them. I am.
Most of the reaching is gonna have to happen on the ground. It really does, because you're gonna have to meet people and talk to people face to face. I think that's where a lot of that comes in. But you guys, thank you to both of you for coming on. Before you go, can you tell everybody where they can find you? Blakely.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was really good to see you both. Sorry for all the yelling. I'm just like,
I don't blame you.
Today. But thank you so much for having me on, Sabby. It was actually like really good to like come on here and like vent a little bit. And good to see you, Nick. Everybody can find me under I am Blakely on every channel. It's just got a little underscore on it on Twitter and Instagram, but everywhere else it's just at I am Blakely, like how it is here.
Okay.
Yeah, Blakely, you have great videos. It's great to be with you guys. And Sabby, we're extremely proud of you. Sabby is killing the game. Always great to be in conversation with you guys. You guys know we're still streaming on RBN. I have a new channel. I relaunched my old Nick Cruz channel. I haven't streamed on 3 years. We launched it last month. We already hit monetization. I think I'm very excited about the direction of our new channel. Because you guys know I'm tanky as fuck. There's some tanky ass stuff I can't say on the RBN channel. I don't want to get our people in trouble. So if you want more uncensored, like uncut, raw, tanky news, follow me on Nick Cruz on YouTube. We're part of the RBN network. A little bit more decentralized because we don't want social media companies to silence all of us at once. Sabby playing the game. JB also has a new channel. Like you guys can check out JB Font. Like RBN, we're still doing the thing. We're a little bit more decentralized in terms of streaming now. But I think mutual aid is the biggest reason. And I think that's what RBN needs to be the driving force for. That's what we need to be a mutual aid organizing hub. And we are a leftist think tank. That's what we are. So thank you guys for watching. And make sure you guys subscribe to my personal channel, Nick Cruz. Thank you, Sabby.
All of them too. Yeah, he's great.
All right. Thank you, guys. Hey, guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.